Hey guys, here we go. We played around with a different soap yesterday, so we're back to the one I'm usage testing. Fine Santal Absolut. And got it in the vintage Old Spice mug, which I like a lot. The blade we'll be using today is the Nacet blade that we've been using for a while. We are going to be putting 345 shaves on it after today's use. The razor, we're back to the Fatip Mark II, and this is the Open Comb Piccolo special edition with a chrome or nickel open comb base plate instead of the gold one that comes with it. And then a B23 Boar brush from Zenith. Gave me a pretty good shave recently, the other day, and so I hope that it will be good today. The backbone on it at the very core of the knot is very strong, and hopefully over time we can get that to be reduced. All right, so here's that Nacet blade, and we'll just put it on there. And check for alignment. But you know what, did I put it on the right way? With this blade and this blade only. Yep, I did. I put the dots toward the handle. With this blade only, I am choosing to orient it with one specific side toward the handle each time. And so I'm not flipping the blade or anything like that. You know what? I think I might have discovered an easier way to align this when you do have alignment problems. And I don't know, maybe 40% of the time I do. You push the blade, pick a direction, push the blade that way or this way using the end tabs. And then that makes one of the sides aligned centered, really nicely. And then the other one is very easy. Sometimes when you're trying to align it without using that type of method, you are moving both sides at once, and so you get one right, well, that causes the other one to move. So I just eliminated that as a possibility. And because after all, the shapes for the holes in the blade are diamonds, and so if you can get one of those to kind of act as a centering mechanism on these bottom posts, then that perfectly aligns one of the ends. I've discovered something. All right. The blade is in, and so now I don't have to mess with that paper envelope anymore. Let's get my hands wet and my face by getting my face wet. And then probably a 15-second load here on the soap is all we're going to need. As you can see, this handle really pushes the bristles out kind of in a direction this way, instead of other handles that may allow these bristles to kind of be pushed out by default. And so we're relying on these bristles to then bend with this setup here, instead of being pointed that way by themselves. And it's taken a while for them to do that. So a 15-second load. I'm going to go till 05 on the next minute. Probably should have shaken a little bit more water out of this, but I think it'll be fine. It's a very kind of wet mix in there right now. And there's 5. I'm sorry, when I said there's 5, I mean there's 05 on the minute, which means 15 seconds. And then I poured the leftover kind of water that was hovering above the soap into the bowl. Finally, with this use, this brush becomes on equal ground with some of the other Boar brushes that I've been using in my Boarathon series. So I've had to hold back on some of those other brushes so that this guy could catch up. which is not too bad because I occupied my time with some fun badger brushes and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying it's going to be Boar from here on out, but this guy's finally caught up. So I can kind of use him, and I can get my rotation back to something that more resembles a rotation. That Omega that I used recently, the 80266, I think, it is also amidst the rotation in a normal kind of way. I went ahead and put 2 teaspoons in the lather because this is a hard soap and I know it's going to need at least that. Let's bend down and look at the lather. This is a wonderful soap that takes a lot of water. And so I can add with impunity, at least in the beginning. Some soap makers are changing their formulations because of the public's habit of underwatering their soaps. And so there are some thirsty soaps out there that are holding fast and require you to make sure you get enough water in there. I think Fine's one of them. I really enjoy it. I mean, look at that pillowy, awesome lather there. I kind of like the older concentrated soaps. Number one, I know that if they're not likely to spoil, and that's important for me because I have such a big soap collection. 4 teaspoons total now in the soap, in the lather. Now 4.5. Kind of bring it down to the bottom of the bowl here, and I can, oh, look at that, look how quickly, maybe my angle wasn't right to show you that. Look how quickly that collapses. We might be in a good spot right now, so let's just get a good mix here. Last time I used this brush, I was very happy with it because it seemed to have made some strides in opening up. The core I could still feel was still pretty tight, but the kind of the top 2/3 or top half was a little easier to display than usual. The peaks, the tips have been pretty comfy for quite a while now, so it hasn't been a bad brush to use. Got some Omegas that were that way. They just never lost that kind of scratchy feeling, even after quite a few uses and quite a good bit of soaking. All right, water on my face. And again, this is pretty good. Looks like maybe this brush is in a nice place. Now, if I do water down a lather too much, then this kind of brush at this stage with so much backbone is not going to behave as nicely. But right now, feels pretty good. So you know what that means? That means it's really going to be nice in, 60 shaves. Something like that, because it'll continue to relax. Kind of knew that would happen, but it has been slow going Fortunately, I had my friend Buzz online able to tell me, hey, you know, don't sweat it. It'll be okay, because he's got the same knot. Excellent lather. Feels great. And yeah, actually, this could actually use a little bit more water. Kind of see it being a little pasty, but that's all right. And sometimes this knot feels like it doesn't have a lot of lather in the middle, and so you can really kind of feel the brush more. But just take that side lather off like that, and then push the brush onto it, and that'll kind of help rotate the lather around in the brush. Yeah, this may very well come to be a favorite. The tips are splitting, but they're splitting slowly, but they're soft even now. So it's going to get even better. This could be a real favorite after a whole bunch of uses. I like the handle too. All right, very good. So 345, about a day's worth of growth. So that's, the blade should generally only be slightly tuggy at this point. Just a little bit of blade feel. I do enjoy, oh, now that's really smooth right there. Wow. I mean, I feel a little bit, tiny bit of tugginess, but that's really surprising how nice that was on my cheek there. I do like the feel of a new blade, newish, you know, under 30 uses or so. How it just cuts so smoothly and comfortably, kind of without effort, you know. All right, let's rinse. Okay. Because the bloom doesn't open up as much on this brush at this point, I like to push down into the lather to try to shove some of that into the bristles. Don't have to work the lather as much now that we're past that first pass. So just work it a little bit and then lay it down. Cross grain now. Now if you want kind of to be able to customize your shave experience, these Fatip razors don't have such a precision blade alignment system like other razors do. Now, there's a lot of those DE89 type razors that you do have to also check the blade alignment, you know, when you load them up, just like you do with this one. So this is definitely not the only one. But this has enough play in it where you could make one side of your razor have more blade exposure than the other. A little customized experience there. Nice and slick. Not leaving behind a lot of secondary slickness, because I think the leather's really well hydrated. So there's a little less product on my face. And rinse. Last pass. Well, I might do a touch up on my neck. people don't do this kind of scrubbing motion, circular. They only build their lather with a side-side painting motion like this. I think I would take forever with my own method, but give it a try if you feel like it. I was experimenting with the hair right over here behind, kind of under my ear, and it goes in a weird direction that I haven't memorized yet. Yeah, I think it actually comes this way, from the back forward, and then it must, I think, kind of curve around like that. It's an area that I haven't really put a lot of focus on because it's not as noticeable, you know, that kind of thing, but I'm starting to pay attention to it now just for fun. I figure, hey, why not have a complete shave? We'll see if I can get that area well. Lifting that chin up to kind of have a little bit of tightness there. Don't want wrinkles while I'm trying to shave that area. Also, I can tilt my head over to help my cheek. If you're straight shaving, you need to like pull up, you know, on your sideburn area to tighten up this area like you should. Not quite as necessary with the quality that I need from my double edge. I don't need it to be quite so. Such a close shave. All right. Very good. There we go. Smells great. One of my favorite scents. Performance, very nice. Slick, just, you know, the movement of the razor was terrific. Protected well. I don't have any irritation or anything like that. And let's, why not? Let's go ahead and do another pass right there. So let's get some water. All right. One last kind of touch up here on my neck. And lather is, you know, maybe a little bit more than I normally like to have because that is plenty left, but that's okay. All right, let's find the side that doesn't have the bend in it, because this is a going cross grain in this direction. It's a little more touchy right here. You don't want to over pull your skin. Tugging, pulling a little bit is fine. You don't want to take it too far though. Ingrown hairs, if you're cutting a little too close to the, you know, base of the hair, you can get yourself ingrown hairs. From what I hear, I've never had one of those that I knew about. Oh, that feels pretty good. All right. All right. Excellent. So yes, it looks like 4.5 teaspoons was kind of just the right amount. I think that's pretty much the lather that I like to have in terms of water to soap ratio. I'm glad that I didn't add any more water. You know, I said in the first pass that could use more water, but I'm glad I didn't add any more. And I found that to be true in many cases. For whatever reason, that first pass will often just be a little thicker than the rest of them end up being. So maybe I need to keep that in mind and not tweak it too much after that first pass. We'll see what happens. Stirling, Sharp Dressed Man. This is an older formula, and it's an older container. And indeed, the formula does look slightly different. Maybe it's because of age. Maybe it's because of, maybe it's, and when I say age, meaning, you know, over time it degraded a little bit, but I bet it's a different formulation. And so I want to use it up. It does a good job. So I don't have a problem using it. And I like the scent of this one. And to be honest with you, I don't like the Green Irish Tweed scent as a splash. It's a little too intense, a little too sharp, a little too bright for me. However, the Balm, it's not as much that way, and so it's enjoyable. I don't think the cologne is that way either. I finally got a sample of that cologne, and I think I like the cologne better than the Stirling's aftershave, the alcohol splash that Stirling has. You know, the real Green Irish Tweed, but of course it's very expensive. But you can buy decants. Somebody will buy the big, bottle of that cologne, and then they will buy smaller bottles. And on Reddit Wet Shaving, you can find people like that. Thin is one of the guys who does that. I think Zesty_Calco has done it as well, and it's something they do every once in a while. It's not like all the time they have these available, and so it's great when they do it. It's a great chance to order and get small amounts of an expensive scent in, so you can try it out for a while, see if you like it, see if you want to spend big money on something. And sometimes a more expensive scent is worth the money because of the quality of ingredients they use. Sometimes that results in a better scent over the long haul. The longevity of the scent remains with you and on you instead of disappearing pretty quickly. Sometimes those cheaper colognes, the dupes and things like that, sometimes those can evaporate a lot more quickly. And so that's something you could evaluate yourself for your particular cologne that you have as a favorite. And so here's what this guy looks like after stropping him on a towel. In a sense, his shape doesn't look all that great because, we do have some shorter hairs over here, but then you can see this corner kind of sticking out. I don't know if it's a manufacturing defect or if the rotation and turning of the bristles, they all seem to be kind of pointing toward the middle of the knot. I had another brush do that. I don't have a lot of brushes that do. See that? How it just, I can point them different ways, but it just seems to have a tendency to keep in the center instead of to open up. But as you can see, we are starting to get more outliers here, bristles that relax, and the more that happens, the more we get a nice feel for the brush with an easier splay. That's what we want. There we go. So there's a little report. Really liking it so far. I like the ergonomics of the handle. It does put a little pressure on your fingertips when you're having to really grind and work the brush, which I'm trying to do to help accelerate the splay. But I think in general use, it's comfortable enough. This I might prefer it to be a little thicker, not quite so narrow right here, but I think it's going to be good, especially once I don't have to put as much pressure on it to get it to splay. All right, guys, there we go. Good shave today, nice and close. Really happy with that. The Balm leaves things a little tacky for just a little while, and then it smooths out really well. So the Balm works really nicely for me. The Stirling can leave a little bit of a white residue, but it absorbs in like 6 minutes or something like that. All right, I sure hope that there's been something in this one to help you out with your own lathering skills or just whatever. But we are putting more uses on that Nacet, and hopefully by the end of November we will be at 365. What's today? Yeah, we'll be at 365 uses. How about that? All right, guys, take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and you have a good day.